Talk a little bit, our philosophy on officiating is we're a service provider. We're no different than FedEx or US Air or anybody else that's providing a service. Our clients are pretty well defined. Our first client is those schools, those colleges that use our officials. That's our client. The coaching staff, the players, and the members of that institution. I have a separate set of clients. That's the officials. These are very dedicated, hardworking, competent men who go out and make sure that the game is played fairly, is played within the philosophy of the rules, and we administer both the fouls, the management of the game. So much more goes into it than just calling fouls, managing the clock, getting the spots right, communicating with coaches and players, making sure that we effectively call the big ones and let the little ones go, that type thing. Our guys get tired of hearing me, and I know Harold hears it on my video each week. With my FBI background, I call them felonies and misdemeanors. That's just how we operate on there. We want to get the felonies and let the misdemeanors go. So they get sick of hearing me each week. That's a felony. Why in the world do we miss this one? Whereas the misdemeanors, and you've heard it, I'm sure, plenty, Mike. But the idea is to get the big ones, get the things that are relevant, get the things that impact on the game, and let all the chicken stuff go. We don't want that called. We don't want to slow the game down. Another huge, and I'll get into some of these plays in a minute, the official today, this is not a part-time avocation. When I came in, and I can say this unequivocally, I was the best official in the history of the game. And you know why? Because we didn't have video. You couldn't prove otherwise. You know, today, we watch those old 16mm films in a room, tick, 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 say, it looks like holding to me. You couldn't even tell who was playing, you know, and so you couldn't even tell a number. So video has had the biggest impact on our ability. These coaches out here, I know your job is teaching. People forget that. Coaching is teaching. And that's exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to teach and get, it's the ultimate team sport, to get this group to go perform and each do their job in synchronization with everybody else so that the common goal is there. And the goal is to move the ball forward if you're on offense, and it's to stop them if you're on defense. And however you do that, that's teaching. My job in the business model that I put together, being a service provider for all these clients I have, and I've got other clients, the media. How about the media? How about the fans? How about the TV audience? How about the conference itself, the commissioner and those? So we have all these clients that we're trying to provide this service to. And it's just like FedEx. They tell you a package is going to be there Tuesday morning at 8. If it's not, you're going to switch and go to somebody else. You're going to go to UPS or whatever else, what other providers there. Well, in football, we're the same way as it relates to officiating. There's absolute accountability. Every foul is graded. Every game is graded with a neutral observer. We have an internet website where every official at the end of every game gets a grade. And I compile these each week as the season goes on. Doesn't matter if they're the crew that's working that Presbyterian at Charleston Southern game tomorrow, the crew that's working Miami, Florida State tomorrow night. Everybody is in that same category where every play is evaluated. And out of those evaluations, I use them to make my decisions. For who works in the postseason, and for us, we have the ACC championship game, we have the Army-Navy game, normally 4 bowls and 2 FCS playoff games. So plenty of opportunities for postseason. But I do those assignments based on how they perform during the 12-game season during the year. The second thing that rating is used for is retention, because there's no shortage of people. I had 350 people apply to become officials last year in the ACC, and I hired 6. So we don't have a lot of turnover. So the idea is we want to be in a position where we can recruit. And our footprint now, I've got an umpire that lives in Key West who happens to be a judge around there, which is good. If you get stopped in the Keys, you know, and you're at least an official, you might get off. But I've also got a probation officer in Boston, you know. And I've got a doctor. We limit the attorneys. We only have 2 attorneys on the staff. That's the minimum that we will accept as officials because of the integrity. No, I'm just kidding. But having said that, you know, there's this huge group of men, and it's not a part-time job. It's not a hobby anymore. Guys that go play golf and guys that go fishing and do all that other fun stuff, which is great. But this is not a hobby anymore. This is a year-round avocation. And let me just give you real quick, and then I'll get into some of the video. For the year for an official, January, February, March is when I make my decisions on who I might fire, who I might hire, and how I'm looking ahead to the next year. I'm going to have to add 2 crews. Now with Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Notre Dame coming in, I'm going to need more officials, so I'm going to hire some guys. But I do all that in early January, February, March. We go to scrimmages just like when your teams are scrimmaging in the spring. I'm sending prospective officials there and having them evaluated. Varsity officials, supplemental officials, and prospects that I'm looking at. They go to those scrimmages. After the scrimmage season ends in the spring, they have to attend regional study group meetings. And I assume you guys still go over to Greenwood, the group here. So guys from Spartanburg and Anderson or wherever, they get together. We meet once a week and we study video. We have rules tests that they have to study, mechanics issues, but they meet approximately 10 times through the rest of May, June, and July. We have an annual clinic that we put on the last weekend of July, and we do it jointly with other conferences. For 3 years, we did it with the Big Ten, the Big East, and the MAC. The last 2 years, we've done it with Conference USA. But all the officials come in, all the replay officials, all the officials, and we just like you. We have coaches that come speak. This year, Dan Brooks came from Clemson, offensive line coach, and addressed the officials on offensive play. We had Jed Fish, who's the offensive coordinator at Miami, that spoke. Each year I have 2, 3, 4 coaches come. We talk about different aspects of the game. Going back to coaching is teaching. That's what our job is. We're trying to teach these 7 adult officials to go out and perform on the same page, do it the same way, do it with accuracy, do it with good communication skills. And fitness is a big part of it. You know, you have to have an annual physical. I've let them off the hook last year with running the mile, but it's back this year. We're gonna be back. They have to take a stress test every 3rd year. So fitness is a huge part of it for us too. So all these things combined for that official. Then they have to be at the game site at 6 o'clock on Friday night. I prepare a video for them. They watch that video as a crew. Then after the game, the replay official takes the DVD, or now we're doing it all on iPad. Everything's on an iPad. Plug your iPad in the replay booth, leaves. Every official has access to every game on the internet on our password-protected, secure website of every game. So they can go on there after the game when Mike gets home from his game, and if he was up and had Virginia and Maryland, or Florida State and Georgia Tech, whoever it is, the full game in the full breakdown and continuity, 3 views: scoreboard, sideline, and end zone. So every official gets that. I take all that video. We have a game day operations center in the conference office. And if any of you ever come by the conference office, if you're on 85 coming up to Greensboro, when you see Grandover, the resort on the left, that's not our office, okay? But we're right next to it. But that's a good landmark there. We have an internship program with college students that we have in there. And every game is televised, and every foul of every game is recorded. And I have a replay official in the room. So the first game tomorrow, Clemson, Virginia Tech, we'll have that game assigned to an intern. There's an official in the room. Right next to it, Wake Forest at Virginia is the next game at 12:30. At 3 o'clock when NC State plays at Maryland. As each of these games come on, they're recorded in there and in that room. So when I get back from whatever game I go to on Sunday, I have all the plays that the coaches send me over this same internet system from all 20-some of the schools. I have the full game where we've tagged every play, and then I have from the replay booth sent to me via internet all of those plays. So I get all of this video in there, and we start Sunday at about 10:30 on Sunday, and I go through all those plays, anywhere 150 to 200 plays, select the ones I want to be put on the video, and by every Monday night by 5 o'clock, we have 6 chapters: running game, passing game, kicking game, personal fouls, snap infractions, and miscellaneous other stuff. That's available to every single coach and to every single official by 5 o'clock on Monday. So with that in mind, let's look at a little video here, see what we can talk about. We have about 10 minutes. I'll try and show some of these. If I'm in your way, I'll try and move over here to the side a little bit. All right, first of all, just to be sure, went too far, let me run this back. Just to be sure that everybody really understands, there are 7 officials on the field. Each has a different responsibility. The referee's in the backfield. His job is to count the offense. protect the quarterback, to make sure there's no false start snaps, no motion, legal motion. So that's his job. The umpire, his job is to stay alive. Okay, that's the primary job of the umpire, is to get out of the way and stay alive. His job is to line up 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He keys on the center guard center action and their opponent. So he's looking right here in the middle. Center guard center and the action there. He looks for holding, he looks for chop blocks and other fouls, head slaps, things that occur in this area here. These two officials have the word line in their name, head linesman and line judge. Their job is to look down the line of scrimmage to make sure there's no false starts, no offsides, encroachment. Make sure you have 7 men on the line of scrimmage, properly numbered, no more than 4 in the backfield. In this formation here, we have 4 in the backfield, 7 on the line. And then their job, that only starts. Now, once the ball's snapped, they have a key. Each wing official keys the second eligible receiver in on their side. These 3 deep guys back here, side judge, back judge, field judge, they key on the widest receiver on their side. The back judge in trips has the middle guy. If they're in a balance set, he has the tight end, or if there's motion, he picks up motion. But they all watch and key as each play starts. So that's pretty much what their responsibilities are. Show you what our command center looks like up there. We can have up to 14 games televised. Oops, we passed it here. Up to 14 games simultaneous. This is in our command center. An intern sits at each station. They have their own computer where every foul is recorded, every play. This is the game they're watching. So we have it set up. We have 14 of these stations, and then we can move up to the big screen any particular play. Hey, here's a defensive pass interference at Miami. Let's go back and look at it. Or here's a missed chop block, or good mechanics, good goal line mechanics, good punt coverage. I'm probably your way here. I apologize. I don't know how this board will reach much further. I'll try and move over. Where every foul is recorded, and this is the basis by which we do our training video. What we're going to do now is try and make an official out of some of you, since, you know, I'm sure many of you have an opinion. No one's ever complained. I'll show you this first play. Tell me if this is a catch. All right. How many of you think that was a catch? Anybody? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Keep your hand up. Don't give me that I want to get a second look, because you only get 1 look on the field. All right? Keep your hand up. Now, let me go back here and show you the slow-mo with what replay does. Now, here's another view of it. And when I slow it down, I have never missed a play with this slow-motion wheel. I have never missed a single play ever. Now, when the ball is caught, does he possess the ball, control the ball, and does he touch with his foot in? And when going to the ground, does he maintain the ball? All the 4 elements of a catch. And the answer is yes. It is. That's a catch, because he.
Yeah, Coach was right, Coach Rose.
Yeah, they're right. And occasionally they are. I remember both times this season that you've been right. So